Welcome to the Answer is Yes podcast, where we interview some of the most interesting people that have said yes to opportunities in their life. We hope that through these stories, you can learn to create your own destiny by saying yes along the way. Join us as we explore the new series covering topics such as passion, integrity, and hard work. I'm your host, Jim Riley, and I hope you enjoy these interviews as much as I do. I believe that everyone has an important message worth hearing. Hello and welcome to the Answer Yes podcast. Yes, if you are a regular listener, I have not done a show in over a month, and I apologize for that. A lot going on in my life, all good. Not a zero complaint I should have, especially the amount of time that I'm spending with my family. I often talk about values. God, family are my first most important two, and I'm crushing it there. My health, give or take, it's summertime, so the rainier beer consumption's been a little bit higher than what it should be, and for that, I will regret having a little less health. Giving back, time, and my business have all been going great as well, and I hope you are also following your values, incorporating those values into your goals, and achieving the success and happiness that you hope to achieve. It is possible, and here we are post-COVID. I've seen a lot of people coming out of this. Our governor here in the state of Montana just dropped all emergency restrictions. So people are really feeling back to normal. Although it's been pretty light here and mild in Montana since day one. And I think we're very fortunate and blessed for that. And I feel terrible for the other places that have been deeply impacted. And I hope that you're coming out of it okay. By the way, if you need any help or support in any arena as it relates to business and life, I do have a consulting and life coaching business, and I'd be happy to help you through the process. If it's just a little bit of time and simple, I'd be happy to do it at no obligation. And if it's a little bit more complex, then we'll have to talk about how we can make that work out. But I just wish the best for everybody, and I think that you can achieve greatness no matter where you're at and what you're going through. So just keep that in mind. This is 4th of July weekend, and it's interesting because when you take time off from a project like I have from this podcast the last 30 days, I just listened to my last show, and I was talking about spring in the air, and we're in the full-on meltdown of summer. Sometimes it just takes a little inspiration to light that fire again, and I produce a couple other podcasts outside of my own, and one of them is for our state legislator here in Montana, and his name is John Fuller. The show is called Life and Politics, and you can find that on Spotify. You could probably find it at all the platforms that you find this podcast. Again, it's Life and Politics with John Fuller, F-U-L-L-E-R. And if you want to learn a little bit more about politics, mainly from a conservative point of view, this is a great show. John was a 45-year history teacher, and of course now he's serving for free the state of Montana as a legislator. So it's great to have a historical perspective on laws, how we come about laws, when they started, things like the Second Amendment and the Constitution and how they were written, and all these great pieces of history that so few of us know about. Again, John Fuller, Life and Politics. So the reason why I'm bringing all that up is that I was motivated by John this morning. I recorded his show. It's called Why Be a Patriot? And just listening to his perspective and his quotes from Abraham Lincoln and what it means to me and what it means to this country. We're on the eve of the 4th of July, 2021. And I was inspired not only to produce his show, but also to produce this show again and get back on the bandwagon. So I'm going to use this as a stimulus and to stimulate me getting back on the program here. I've got a whole bunch of people that want to be guests, so I'm going to start reaching out to them and start recording some more shows. And I owe it to you, and I owe it to myself to get back on the program. And then for today, what I want to do, and it might sound a little awkward at first, but I'm going to drop in John's podcast here in a moment. And again, it's called Why Be a Patriot? So you're going to hear kind of the start of his show and his thank you to his sponsors. But the most important thing is his 5 minutes of Why Be a Patriot and a little bit of a history lesson for not only himself, but Abe Lincoln and this country. And I hope you're equally inspired going into the 4th of July. And remember, it's not just a barbecue. And I want to apologize for taking so much time off of producing this show. We're just almost at that 50,000 subscriber cusp. Literally after this show airs, we'll probably hit it. And I want to thank you for all your support the last 2 years. We've produced over 200 shows between this one, My Liberty or Lose, and my Baja Sessions podcast. And we've had a lot of fun with it. So without further ado, I'm going to drop in John's podcast. Please enjoy that. Enjoy the 4th of July weekend, and then make the most of it. And I look forward to hearing your comments on all the shows. Take care.
Welcome to Life and Politics in Northwest Montana with John Fuller. I'm so grateful that you're here. Again, thanks to all the platforms that carry this podcast. And I'm so appreciative of you being here. Today, as this broadcast is being made initially during the first week of July, the subject of patriotism is in the air. And so I want to ask, why be a patriot, and what might that really be? Is patriotism the last refuge of the scoundrel? Is it white nationalism? Is it jingoism? Or is it something better? Being a baby boomer, I was raised among heroes. Heroes that paid the price for America to defeat tyranny in World War II and hold the line in Korea. When I was young, virtually every adult male my parents' age was a veteran. I've met many patriotic heroes, but from my youth, one stands out above the rest. I had a shooting coach. I was on a small bore shooting team as a young man. I know. Nancy Pelosi would be horrified. Okay, but my shooting coach when I was young was a retired U.S. Army colonel, a veteran of World War I, World War II, and Korea. He had been awarded every medal for valor the Army gives, or awards, except the Medal of Honor, and several of them were duplicated. I can remember asking him many of the questions that boys ask old men, but to this day I remember his answer as to why he would serve in all 3 wars of his lifetime, when as a wounded veteran of World War I, he could have been excused from further service. And his answer was, I was raised to be a patriot. So what does it mean to be a patriot? It seems that in today's America, patriotism is either denigrated and despised or considered next to godliness. Some say being patriotic means my country, right or wrong, but always my country. Others, such as liberal Howard Zinn, say that patriotism is dissent. And by the way, a future broadcast might have to be on the teachings of Howard Zinn in our American public education system and the socialism that he professes. But to me, the best kind of patriot and the best definition of a patriot was given by the very first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln. Quote, I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place will be proud of him. End quote. As a lifelong historian, I have studied the rise and fall of empires, nations, and civilizations. Invariably, as they rose and fell, they all underwent a transformation from their founding values to something else. And as they lost the ties that bound them together, they began to fracture, from within first. All nations need a common language, culture, and borders. Destroying any and or all of these results in the collapse of the nation. Defending the nation's language, its culture, and its border can be defined as patriotism. In America today, I see concentrated efforts to destroy our culture, language, and our borders. We cannot be proud of the place in which we live if we wish to destroy it. We cannot live so that our nation will be proud of us if we need to destroy it. And so I choose to be a patriot, and I choose to defend America's culture, language, and borders. America was the first nation in human history to be founded on the Judeo-Christian principles of the God-given natural rights of man. Only the Judeo-Christian teachings of being created in God's image, equal under His law, and the freedom and liberty of free will gave this new nation the political outline necessary to create this nation that became the shining light upon the hill. It is worth preserving and protecting, and no nation can survive without its patriots. Now, patriotism has other benefits besides protecting and preserving a nation's culture, language, and borders. The benefits include the self-motivation of its people, increased productivity, the promotion of better governance, the enhancement of social cohesion and a sense of community, and selfless service in the name of the nation and the community that makes it up. Since I was raised to be a patriot, like my old veteran shooting coach, I choose to continue my lifetime of public service. And that is one reason why I've declared my candidacy for Kalispell Senate District 4 in the 2022 general election. Lord Bryan said, "He who loves not his country can love nothing." And Henry James said, "Patriotism is like charity. It begins at home." And so, here's where we begin. I thank you again for listening. This is John Fuller, Life and Politics in Northwest Montana. May God bless you, God bless Montana, and God bless America.
Thank you for listening to today's show. It is my pleasure and honor to interview all of the guests that have been on the Answer is Yes podcast. If you have enjoyed the show, please go on iTunes and subscribe, give a rating, or simply tell a friend about the show. We also believe in the message of our guests and the positive influence of their stories. As my own mentor and coach, David Meltzer, has taught me, spend some time every day thinking and writing about the things in your own life that you have more than enough of. You will find out how blessed we really are. Please visit my website, livelifedriven.com, for the latest updates about me and what I'm doing. Plus, I post a monthly blog about the many topics on this show. This podcast can also be found there. As I learned early on in life, what you believe is what you will achieve. Thanks, Mark Victor Hansen, and thank you, and have a great week.